My name is Richard Lael. I'm a Satanist. I was raised Christian, but I am a Satanist. There are those who will think that I am murdering babies, and I'm not. I like children. I can just never finish a whole one. I am a Satanist. I conjure anything or anyone to communicate.
This house, we're not just investigating this house, we're investigating the person that lives in this house. This person, we were told, is extremely powerful in the occult practices that he does.
We were French Protestants, and we were known as witches, heretics, mumblers. I just saw someone on the stairs.
It's interesting because the reason that I bought this house was an experience that I had on these stairs.
You're in for a bit of a treat. We call upon the spirits of the north. We call upon the spirits of the south. I do believe higher purpose, as in love, to give, to be generous, to be kind, to help, to heal.
This is where things can get really dangerous.
I don't do magic tricks.
We brought together 7 psychics.
I am a psychic. I use many tools. I use divining rods, and I use crystals, and I use all kinds of things. But there's a lot of intuition. Satan represents to me taking responsibility for your own actions. It says to thirst for knowledge, for understanding, to understand that man is an animal, sometimes worse than those around, but an animal nonetheless.
Lucky little devil, the whole...
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps one of the longest intro in my broadcast history. I've done 80 plus episodes, but I have never created such a narrative, because today we need to talk context. Otherwise, people would go berserk. Oh my God, he's murdering children and burning out churches and all of that. Now, hold on a second. First of all, right, most of us are Hindus, and we do not have a Satan in our religion, and we're going to talk about that. I want to talk about theology. I want to talk about philosophy. I want to talk about the history behind Satanism, and I want to talk about the psychology behind it, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. But to talk about it, we have with us a gentleman in the most literal sense possible. Like literally, like if the word gentleman has a literal reference, if gentleman was incarnated into human form, he has it. He has it all. He has those Mordecai mustache, the Johnny Depp face cut, the suits, and the goddamn fancy chairs and fancy cars, and he worships Satan. But he isn't a devil worshiper. He is a great philosopher as well. His YouTube channel, I stumbled upon him a couple of days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from New York. What happened to Sinatra? Come on, what happened to him? Richard Lael Lillard.
Hello. Hello.
My God, Richard, I'm a huge fan. You know that, right?
Thank you. It is so lovely to be here on the show.
You know how I became a fan? A couple of days ago, I stumbled upon the video with Jubilee, that YouTube channel.
Jubilee Media, yes.
Yeah, you were there, and there were like a couple of other guys. Mm-hmm. And so the premise of the show was that you were facing people from other religion, and you were putting forth your perspective. There was another Satanist with you, and there was another girl, and there was a Hindu lady, and there was a Muslim guy, and there was a Christian guy. And, you talked about what is right, what is wrong, and it was a healthy debate whatsoever. But the takeaway from that show was that you were the highlight of the show. I mean,
thank you.
because everybody, if you look at the comment section below, people are like, who's this guy with the mustache? Who's that guy with that? And of course, you stole the show and you've been on other shows as well. But I'm aching to hear it from the horse's mouth. What's your story? Why Satanism? Who are you?
Well, thank you. Love or hate me, that's sort of I am who I am. So I was raised in Hinduism, in Hindu cultures. You wouldn't know much about this. There's a brand of Christianity that is, it's very strange. I was raised Pentecostal, so these are they're the ones with the big hair. The women have the big hair and the long sleeves, and then they will get excited.
Pre-Lutheran, right?
Yeah,
that came after that. Okay, yeah.
This started.
You get baptized. You're not Catholic. You get baptized. Yeah.
You get baptized through submersion. It started in the 1890s, and then it was the first Pentecostal movement, as that name, was in 1909 in Azusa, California, in Los Angeles. But they speak in other tongues and they roll around on the floor, and it's a very sort of avant-garde Christianity.
Right.
But that was how I was raised. And as a boy, I always sort of, I found the imagery of Satan to be quite appealing. He was always beautiful. And oh, wait. Sorry, I saw you texting.
I was checking. No. I was checking if we were live perfectly, like the sound and everything. Yeah, we are good. Okay.
Good.
I do that. Come on, go ahead, continue. Where is it? You're the supreme gentleman here. Where are the manners? Come on, go ahead. Okay.
So I was raised in the church, but I was an odd child, and I as a little boy, I wanted to wear suits, and I wanted old homes and old cars, and I sort of liked the bad guys, and in all of the films and all of the movies, they're always so well educated, and they're always so well put together. I did love the villains, but there was something about the image of Satan, is that he was, according to the Christian tradition, he was the most beautiful of archangels. He was this radiant beam of light that was the star in God's royal crown review.
The morning star.
Yes, he was that. He was just that. Now, it's all mythology. I don't believe in a literal devil. But I was fascinated with it. I was so fascinated. And then as I continued to grow, and I studied to become a minister, and I was reading, and I had all of these questions.
Hold on. Minister. Christian minister.
I studied to be a Christian minister.
So you went to you had a Baptist version of the Catholic.
No, I didn't go to seminary.
Okay.
My father was a Pentecostal minister, and they have this thing where you can, in certain Pentecostal sects, you can be ordained if a minister who is Pentecostal will vouch for you and say, yes, this person has experienced all of the tenets of Pentecostalism. They can be, in fact, a minister. I stake my reputation on them. So I was a Sunday school teacher. I was the choir director. I was all of these things. And the more that I read, the more that I went, wait a minute, the God of the Bible in the Christian tradition is really a horrible person. If he were a person, he drowns
Old Testament. You're talking about the Old Testament God.
Old and new, both old and new.
Both old and new. Okay, why new? Because I thought Jesus died for our sins. He died for us.
Well, that's the narrative they like to say. But I think it's really quite abhorrent. First of all, it takes away freedom of choice. And for what sins? What sins? It's like God loves you so much, but if you don't accept that he killed himself as a sacrifice to himself for a loophole for rules he created, if you're not a sycophant, he will burn you in hell forever. Now, to me, I don't need to be threatened.
But don't you think that of course, the people in power are abusing this? Like Catholic Church, we have heard stories. We're going to talk about that in details. But the angle that I want to address here, that a lot of Satanists might point fingers at the Catholic Church, all right, that you have murdered scientists, imprisoned scientists.
Sure.
But the same thing with the Romans, they murdered Jesus, right? So aren't they both like equal sort of a sacrifice?
No.
If you really like, no?
No. The thing is, there are some who believe that there was an actual Jesus, and I'm okay with the idea that there was an actual Yahshua who existed in the Middle East and was killed by Romans. I am not okay with there being a Yahshua who was divine. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Take out the divinity. Let's say he was let's say Jesus' sacrifice versus Galileo's sacrifice. One was a scientist killed by the church. Another person who maybe helped people, maybe counseled people. He was a great, I don't know, he counseled people and all of that. And these people thought that he was a witch, that happened before, and then just get the hell out of here, die.
The
and
thing is,
people,
it's the figure of Christ. Hell did not exist. The concept of being tortured forever did not exist prior to gentle Jesus, meek and mild. What also is that Yahweh impregnates Mary. She's a 12-year-old girl who's a virgin. Yahweh rapes a 12-year-old girl. Now, was there a virgin?
Okay, yeah.
But according to the story, Yahweh rapes this 12-year-old girl.
But according to the story, is Mary Magdalene was also you know what?
The concubine of Jesus, yeah, maybe she was. That is
not only her, but she was. But that's the story, right? I mean, of course, you could talk about a whole range of things and try to defy it. Do you really hate the fact that there's a possibility? There was a possibility that there is a guy called Jesus, and he was a genuine dude. He was a good guy.
I don't think Jesus is good, not according to the Bible, because even in the Bible, as he is described,
right,
Jesus says, "Slaves, obey your masters." Even the bad ones, even the ones that beat you. Slavery is immoral. It is.
But it's well, of course, Hinduism. We're more like aham brahmasmi. You need to find yourself. Meditate. And this is not. This is pre. Have you read the Bhagawad Geeta?
Bits of it. I have studied. I enjoy it.
Yeah. So even before Bhagavad Gita, we have the Vedas, we have the Upanishads, and they're so dense in knowledge. We have, from music to Ayurveda to a whole range of things. And of course, we didn't have that approach that you gotta have to worship one God. We have millions. Choose one, customize, go crazy, go berserk. And that's what I love about it. But do you think the problem lies in just in Christianity?
No, I think it's human. It's human. Even in where I love Hindus more than I get on well with Hindus, and I love Hinduism. I think there are beautiful traditions in it. I think that religion can sometimes take away the humanity and the morality of the masses. It says, "Oh no, this is what has to be done," and then it creates an us and them instead of being linked together as one human race, which we are. It's those religions that separate. It's religions that even in sects of Hinduism, there are those that will be vegetarian, and then there are those who will not be vegetarian, and then there's that line of distinction. Oh, you eat meat, we can't. That's not something we do. Not real Muslims don't do that. So religion separates people, and that's what I fight against.
True, I do really think so. But don't you think it's like the Abrahamic religion in particular, right? They have this one God approach versus pagan religions, and I'm not only talking about Hindu religion, the Hinduism. I'm talking about the ancient Greek, the Greek mythologies. If you study the Egyptian mythology, and we have Norse gods. I mean, we saw similarities, right? Like the ocean god of like Poseidon has similarities with Hinduism's ocean god. So I mean, and they tried to discredit it because I've seen Richard, and this is an interesting point. I've seen. I'm sorry,
Richard Lael, one word. Sorry, not Richard.
All right, so Richard. Okay, can I just call you Richard then?
No, just can't call me Richard. My name is Richard Lael. Sorry, it's really important. Names are very important.
All right, Richard Lael. It sounds like this name and a surname. Okay, but okay, Richard.
If you think of it more in terms of French, Richard Lael, then it makes more sense. But it's a double first name, Richard Lael. Once you say it, all hail Richard Lael.
Richard Lael. Oh. Richard Lael, Lillard. Okay. Mr. Lillard.
That's okay too. That's
Mr. Lillard. Okay, Google. Okay, Richard Lael. How, what was I asking? Okay, because I've seen these people. I've seen certain YouTube channels
that were changed. So you were talking about Poseidon and the Hindu water gods, and how that these religions are sort of all over with similarities, and that is true throughout history and with every religion.
Yeah, and versus the Abrahamic religion, I'm talking about Christianity and Islam. That what they tried to replace these pagan gods and to destroy them. Of course, the church, and they were really vicious with them. But even if you go on YouTube, you would find these Jehovah's Witnesses trying to bash Hindu gods and pagan gods in general. They call them Shiva is satanic. They say Krishna is satanic. Now, from a satanic perspective, it might be because even in LaVey in the Satanic Bible, he mentioned Lord Kali. Kali was the destroyer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he mentioned these things. So it's more like a pagan religion. So tell me about it. First of all, is it offensive? Because but do you think it's offensive that they are attacking pagan gods?
I find it incredibly offensive, but the truth is that they're so Christians in general. It's sort of, they say, this is what we want. We want love and peace and acceptance, accepting the fact that you're evil and you're evil and you're evil. Oh, you're a Baptist. Oh, you're a Presbyterian. Oh, you're a Lutheran. Oh, you're Episcopalian. Oh, you're Pentecostal. You're not real Christians. Only ours is the real Christian. And
which is Catholics think that they're superior, right?
Every Christian denomination will believe that they are superior to other Christian denominations. They think that they're the only real church, the only ones that have really been enlightened by God. I find it to be abhorrent, but I will tell you about on the topic of how religions sort of form. I can't remember the year now. But there was the Jewish people in the Middle East were kidnapped by the Persians. And they were brought in, and they were meeting with the Zoroastrians. Now, the Zoroastrians, they believed that there was one good God, Zoroaster, and there was one bad deity whose name was 𝐴ngremaynu. And that was where they sort of, when the Jewish people were returned back to the Middle East, they brought back this idea of the concept of Satan or Satan or Shaitan or the opponent. So good and evil. That was where that sort of came in. Now,
it came from Judaism?
It did come from Judaism. Christianity is an Abrahamic tradition like Islam and but it came from Zoroastrianism. That part. It was not a direct. It's the oldest monotheistic, the oldest practiced monotheistic religion in history. There aren't very many people who are Zoroastrian these days, but major Zoroastrians were Freddie Mercury. It's a closed system. You have to be born into it. You can't convert. It's just, that's what they believe. So Freddie Mercury was, in fact...
I know. They call it Parsi in India. Yeah,
Yes.
I get what you're saying. Parsi. You know, because Freddie Mercury's ancestors were from a particular place and they have a particular religion. In India, it's called Parsi, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Right. Go ahead. Yeah.
So
Zoroastrianism. Yeah.
there was Zoroastrian. So there's a lot of direct pulling from the Abrahamic tradition from the Zoroastrians. Now, the image of Satan, this is one that really fascinates me. It goes all the way back to the multi-deities of the ancient Egyptians. The Egyptians had one particular god who was not sanctioned by the state. He was not sanctioned. There were no major temples erected to him, but his name was Bes. And unlike all of the other counterparts, the Egyptian deities, where they were all in profile, Bes was right. He would face the artist, and he had horns, and he had a beard, and he had this long tongue that would stick out. And it turns out he was the god of music and of wine and of laughter and of merriment. And he would entertain children. He would make children laugh. And he was also he was tattooed on the bodies of prostitutes to prevent STDs. So the Greeks, the Romans, at this point, they were traveling back and forth. They were having trade with Egypt, and they see this little face of this funny little, almost demonic looking creature, and they go, "Who is this? What is this? Why is this? What is this god?" So he was brought back to Greece and Italy, and he became the god Pan, the demigod Pan, which is where we directly get the image of Satan. But even before that, the idea of Satan goes back to Mesopotamia and Babylonia.
Babylonia.
Mm-hmm. So there were three in those days.
Richard Lael, just quickly,
Sure.
Could you check your internet a little, because you were lagging a little bit on the last question a lot, and I don't want people to miss out, because you're saying great stuff.
Thank you. I don't check the internet actually.
Are you using a Wi-Fi?
I am using the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Is it close to the Wi-Fi router?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because you're lagging a little bit, and it's like people are missing out on a lot of things. They're commenting sometimes. Okay. Could you move a little to like next to the, we don't need the frame anymore. We get it. It's an amazing frame. Yeah.
Like we can try. Let's see. We can try. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know where exactly the Wi-Fi is. But we can try.
Whatever, just close to the Wi-Fi router. Maybe we could have a better signal.
Okay, there.
There you go. You look good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this one is way better. Yeah, you were saying something.
So I was talking about sort of how Satan became from other religions. But back in ancient Mesopotamia and Babylonia, there were three gods and their three wives. It becomes basically the hexagram. Yeah, the hexagram. But it's the male and the female entering together. So these three gods, they were Anu, Enlil, and Yah.
Okay.
God of the fresh waters. And Yah was Ea. He was the form of the serpent eating its tail. Have you ever seen that in any occult circles? Like the serpent.
Yeah.
That was the god Yah. And he created this creature called Atum, A-T-O-M, Adam, A-D-A-M. And it sprang forth out of his head. He gave birth. So the other two gods were angry. They wanted to kill this creation. And that way, then Yah turned himself into a goat. So with his long goat ears, he could hear the cries of mankind. He brought fire. He brought irrigation. He brought architecture to this little creature Atum. So then they decided, these other two gods, that they were going to send a mighty deluge. That goes into the Epic of Gilgamesh. But they were going to kill this creation, and they were going to punish Yah for creating him. So Yah then turned himself into a form of a fish from the lower half so that he could swim through the Milky Way galaxy and come out on the other side. He became Capricornicus, or Saturn, which he's ruled. Capricorn is ruled.
Holy shit. Wow. and then he was mistook as demonic by other.
Right.
That's the case. They also say like they're like not all, I'm not saying every Christian goes out there and pagan God sucks
Right.
and all that.
Not all
But-
Christians, but those.
But the Jehovah's Witnesses, they're on YouTube nowadays. Holy crap, that's annoying, man. They just come in and then they say, Lord Shiva. Do you know Lord Shiva, right?
I know Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
One of my
he's a demon. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Lord Krishna is a demon because he was blue.
Which is funny because Lord Krishna is very much associated with Jesus Christ.
Love. Okay, yeah, Jesus Christ as well. Yeah, how? Explain.
Well, not just in the name, but it's also in the fact that it comes to love and comes to give and comes to bring happiness and comes to bring unity with God. That's the idea of it.
Well, the difference is, I think he does have a mythological take. Also, he had a huge role in the Mahabharata. As a result, we got the Bhagawad Geeta, and he was not like follow me and you're gonna. He was not like that. He didn't have disciples. He had disciples, but he never used the concept of disciples. They were all his friends and this like that. He actually had one of her disciples. His name was Sudama. He the caste system. So he was in the bottom caste, and came to him and he embraced him. It was love, and But again, I mean that's another question I wanted to ask you. You talk about love. You want to love. You talk about love in your videos as well, but people think the Satanists are against charity, against love, against courtesy. So what would you have to say to them?
Well, I think it's a misnomer. The major issue that I have is that for way too long, people have decided to choose a narrative, and Anton LaVey said that Satan was the best friend of the church because he's kept the church in business for so long. Back in the Jewish traditions, when they would sacrifice a goat. Have you ever heard of the term scapegoat? They would have one goat that they would magically put all of the sins of the people on one goat, and then they would drive that goat into the desert, and then they would sacrifice another one. And then they would eat it, and it would burn it to the altar of Yahweh. So they needed someone to blame. Oh, you bad goat, you did all of that. And then, of course, there are legends of the goat too, about the reason that it has the slit eyes. It's because it's the devil. It has a short tail because the devil grabbed hold of it. I mean, it's all kinds of silly things, really.
But doesn't LaVey also talk about charity, that Satanists don't need to do charity and all of that?
Right. And I agree. You don't have to do charity unless the people are deserving of it, or unless it doesn't hurt you. If you can, I think humanism. There are a lot of things I agree with on Anton LaVey, but there's a lot of things I don't. But I do think that charity is important for no other reason outside of the fact that if you can, you can. But if you can't, you can't. I feel like that's really important. And I'll tell you, I lived in Hollywood, and from when I would park my car and then I would walk the several blocks to where I was the master of ceremonies, I would be bombarded with 100 homeless people. Signs, they would say, hey, why lie? I need a beer, or I give me money, or hey, you got some money, or things like this. But there would be an occasion where someone would come to me and they would say, I'm really hungry. I am really hungry. Is there anything that you can give me? And then I would say, you know what? Yes, today I do. But it was not I didn't gain anything by it, excepting for the fact that in that moment, I gained, because immortality, that's the sort of immortality. Even though when you're dead, but the real immortality is what people think of you when you're gone. And so I don't give to everybody because I can't. I wouldn't have anything for me. But on occasion, there are times when I go, yes, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't take away from me. It doesn't. Generosity and kindness is really, it's a human thing.
True that. But do you meditate? Because there are a lot of things on YouTube now, satanic meditation, all of that, or you're a psychic. So how do you meditate? Because that's a concept, right? And Satanism as well, self-awareness. Do you chant mantras? I
don't really chant mantras. I do it once in a while. It's not a major thing that I do. But I do believe that to sit quietly and to breathe, to focus on the breath, count the breath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Like a Buddhist concept. It's kind of.
It is a little bit more Buddhism. I haven't done yoga in some time, but I did take a lot of the yogic practices. So it is. Yeah. And I will do a lot of the Om Mani Padme Hum, and I'll do the Om chants. These are, very Buddhist, but it's because it does sort of change the chemistry of the brain, and it helps you to clear things out. And that I'll do that. I'll take a nice hot bath with sea salt and milk and honey and light some candles. That does it for me. Or even driving around in my antique car, that clears my head all the way. So
you have an amazing antique collection. When is that, like, you got one antique car, if I'm not correct, or you have like you call it you call it Mr. Satan. What the?
The car's name is Mr. Satan. People think that I am Mr. Satan, but no, the car is Mr. Satan. And it's a 1936 Jaguar. He's got a little bit of an electrical issue right now, so I'm waiting for a part to come in. It'll be here tomorrow. But he's a 1936, and I see it's just a car, but it's a 1936 Jag. And it's funny. It was redone in the 70s, so it's got a Ford engine and it's got a custom frame, but it's a fun little car, and it makes me happy. I just drive around in that Mr. Satan. And it's also kind of funny because people don't really know how to take it. Mr. Satan, what is that? Who is that? What is that?
Have you watched the movie? No, not the movie. The series Lucifer on Netflix.
A little bit of it, and I will tell you, this show was actually, I lived in Hollywood right before they were filming, and there are elements in the first season, the season that I watched, that I went, wait a minute, that happened to me. Who's been watching? Because it happens in LA, My Starbucks name was Lucifer, by the way. It was for over a decade, because then they would go, Lucifer, oh, crying out loud, I have a latte, So it was my Starbucks name, Lucifer. And I would drive my antique car up and down Hollywood Boulevard, and people thought that I was British, and I wasn't. I was just kind of a posh American. And then
I really wanted to ask you about that. What's up with the Victorian era, this thing?
I just like it. I always have. And the thing is, people always accuse me of wearing vintage clothing all the time. And I rarely ever actually wear true vintage clothing. I style it in a way that is a little bit archaic, a little bit old, but most of my things I've got a couple of vintage pieces, some pieces that I have had made for me. I had this suit made.
Okay. Fair enough. But the mustache, did you get an inspiration for that? You've always had it. You were born with it.
I do joke about it. There's a picture of me at 3 days old that I drew a mustache on. So I tell people, oh, here I was at 3 with my mustache. No, I didn't really have it. I had a mustache, oh God, maybe 15 years ago. I was a Freddie Mercury impersonator. So I was traveling as and performing as Freddie Mercury. And then I shaved it because I was living in LA, and it was, it's all about.
You can talk like Freddie Mercury as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit. Freddie's a little bit different. Like Freddie's very posh, and he has a very difficult time sort of looking at someone in the eye, because he was rather shy. But really lovely, He's very good guy.
Well, he's just a musical prostitute, as he put it. Yeah.
Musical prostitute. Yeah. So I played Freddie, and then I shaved it because I was living in Los Angeles, and then I went. You know what? I want to grow a mustache. I'd wanted one when I was a kid, and now I have one.
Well, it suits you. It really does. It really does. I mean, the internet sucks over there. What the hell, man? But they need to see that your mustache of yours. Hold on, I'll put you on full screen. Yeah, there you go. So tell me about yourself. I mean, you have what do you do for a living? Actually, what's your bread and butter?
I am the gentleman psychic. That's what I do full time.
That is it. So you this is your service. You give it to New Yorkers, or you travel all around the country?
No, I have people. I have people all over the world. Okay. I have in India. I have people in Germany. I have people in England and in Australia. I have people all over the world who I video chat with them, and that's what I do.
What do you do with them? What do you do?
Videos? Psychic. So
tarot card reads and all.
Depends on the client, but usually it's tarot, or it's oracle cards, or spirit communication, what channeling, whatever it may be. It varies by the individual.
You know what would be weird if they called you to possess somebody, the opposite of a priest. Priest is called, hey, I want to possess my friend. Would you come over here? Okay, hey, sure.
Right.
Have you done this sort of summoning rituals and all of that?
I have. In seances. I've encountered, one of my favorites was Jack Parsons. Are you familiar with Jack Parsons? He was a rocket scientist. He was an occultist, friend of Aleister Crowley, and a rocket scientist. And
I've heard the name, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he died in 1950 in a lab experiment. He was part of the reason that there is an L. Ron Hubbard, which, Scientology.
I wanted to talk about it so much. Thank you for bringing it up. What's up with it? Seriously, a giant spaghetti monster. Tom Cruise worships it. What the fuck?
I think I try to be respectful. At the same time, I think it's really insane. So L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer. But he met Jack Parsons, and Jack Parsons gave him his life savings to do this. They were going to go down to Florida and buy yachts, sail them back around to Los Angeles, and then sell them at a profit. Well, L. Ron Hubbard gave almost nothing. Jack Parsons gave everything, and then L. Ron Hubbard ended up by stealing the money, stealing Jack Parsons' wife, and then created Scientology. All the time, Aleister Crowley, who at this point is going, no, this is really dumb.
No. While this was Aleister Crowley's back snorting cocaine, what the fuck is happening over here?
Well, actually, at the end of his life, Aleister Crowley, he became sort of a good family man, and a lot of people say that he was, he died evil and crazy and addicted, and maybe he was still partially addicted to some
cocaine and all, yeah,
and things. But
you look sober. You look clean as hell. Yeah.
I don't even drink. I drink tea, lots of tea.
Wow, you're the most sweet Satanist out there, I guess. You're the kind of Satanist people say that, oh, I want to be friends with them. Okay, but there's the other kind of Satanists, right? We
There are
talk about
Satanists and there are atheistic Satanists. Atheistic or rational Satanists will look at theistic Satanists and go, that's kind of dumb. You know, that's
oh, you mean they actually the people like Luciferianism? They believe in Lucifer, right? Do you have other?
Have a problem with so much because Luciferianism is more of a philosophy, but theistic Satanists who will believe that there is a Yahweh in heaven and a Satan on earth and in hell,
right?
Because that's
devil worshipping. That's so they behead children and all that, the witchcraft and all that. Wicca is a good thing, though. Where people say that Wicca was a good thing, and then the church sort of fucking ruined it because
the new Wicca is not Satanism. Wicca is a relatively It is 1940s in England. I'm sorry, the United Kingdom. It wasn't quite England at the time. It was I think it was Wales, if memory serves. But in the United Kingdom, it was it was 1940s religion. But Wicca has nothing to do with Satan.
I know, but but people claim a lot of nowadays. A lot of psychics are out there. Do you think it's all like most of the psychics are conducting scams out there?
Most, no, I don't think most. I do think that there are a lot that are. When and I can't speak for them. I don't know. Some people. I do think that people do have intuition, and sometimes they don't know how to interpret it. And as long as nobody is. People come to me. One of the things that people will leave on my reviews is they will say he is honest, he is truthful, and I asked about medical, and he won't tell me about medical. So I tell people that when I'm reading, that it is a matter of perspective. That it is, if I say something you don't like, you can change it. You are the director of your movie, and I won't talk about medical things because I am not a doctor. I'm not qualified to give you medical advice, to give you things that would harm you, or oh, you're fine, or oh, you've got things here. No, that's not me. Go seek a doctor. You wouldn't have me design an airplane. You wouldn't have me do medical advice. So I'll say I can feel these things, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
And you tell them go to hell.
Well, I don't believe in that. But I just tell them, no, I won't do medical things, but I will. From here, it's a matter of perspective, and this is the trajectory that you are going from this point.
One thing that I really love about Anton LaVey, he was such a good sport. He never oh, you, how dare you call me, I'm the supreme being. He always he did this and that. He was a good sport, man. It was such I want to hang out with that sort of a guy, because I know he might be nuts, who the hell cares, but he was so respectful when people, in your case, it's also that that you stand on your grounds. If you don't like it, you say it as it is, but you're respectful. What was the inspiration behind the gentlemanish brand? This is a part of your brand, right?
Well, yeah, it's part of the brand, but it started first. So I'll tell you how the name The Gentleman Psychic came about, and then I'll tell you how the rest came about. So a couple of years ago, when I started doing it full time, maybe 3 years ago,
What did you do before?
I was the master of ceremonies. I still did that even for a while afterwards at the Beetle House. It's a Tim Burton inspired bar and restaurant in LA and in New York. I did acting work. I did birthday parties. I did events. I did, you name it, I've done it. I did healthcare for a while. I've done all kinds of things. So things sort of a couple of years ago were shaken like this, and I went, oh, well, okay, I guess let's see. Well, you know what? I've been doing this for parties. I've been doing it for events. I am clairvoyant. I have had visions, and so I'll just post it to my friends and see what they think. So I said, I'm doing readings now. I'm offering readings, and I got really booked, and then it led me to other things. And then a friend of a friend who became a friend, she wrote a review that said he's a gentleman and a psychic. And I went, oh, I like that. The gentleman
Psychic. Okay.
and so that's how that came about. But as far as the aesthetic and the brand and that was as long.
I mean, you blew up after that internet show and the television cover. Holy, how did you get approached for that? How did they know about you?
Well, I was on Ghost Adventures first. I had done this when I came out as let everyone know that I'm a clairvoyant. I was on a show with my friend Frankie Franck. He asked me to be his co-host. It was a short-lived podcast in LA. It was very short, but it was fun. It was a good one. And then I was introduced to Patty Negri, who has been rather well known as on Ghost Adventures and various other shows. And so she put in a word, and they came to investigate me. And then Jubilee Media, that was an interesting one, because I don't even really know how they found me. I think I was just Kendra is her name. She's the producer. She sent me an email, and I've done their show 4 or 5 times, different things.
Yeah.
Not
well,
all
one thing I remember about that show, there was a Christian guy, and he was a family man, and you were sitting right next to him. You know, you're friends with him now?
I'm not friends, but I know of him. Yes.
Okay. So you were sitting right next to him, and he was staring him down. You were answering him, and he was like, "Holy shit, he's gonna eat my heart apart." And I was like, I was rolling on the floor, man, with looking at his expressions. I mean, this is a general consensus, right?
I think Sean is a very good man, and that's what I tried to point out, that he is more moral than the God he thinks he worships. Because I've read the Bible. I've read it several times straight through, and it's not a very good book.
You're not a fan of it. We get it. Okay. But can I yeah, are you able to hear me?
Mm-hmm, I can hear you.
So I'm not. What do you think about? Have you been to India, or do you plan to?
I would like to go to India. I've never been to India, not in this lifetime anyway. But I have never been to India.
A lot of people, tend towards the Eastern religions, right? Buddhism, Hinduism, and also we have Jainism, which is another, version of Buddhism. So, do you think that Eastern religions now have an edge over Western religions?
Well, in terms of population, yes, I do feel like that, historically speaking, is that the Abrahamic faith is, well, Christianity, number one, is in the decline. As far as Abrahamic faiths on the increase, that would be Islam. But even more than that, it is Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism.
It's an all-time high. That's true.
Yeah. So Christianity is on the decline.
Right. With the when you talk about Satanism, we particularly talk about Christian version of it. People talk about Lucifer, the fallen angel, but nobody talks about Iblis. Nobody talks about Azazel, right? Azazel is considered to be the Jewish version of it, right? Right. Okay. So
well, different. I mean, there's different, but yes, go on.
So my question is, okay, so who's the Jewish devil? What was the devil in Jew?
In Hebrew, there were people assume that Lucifer, which is actually Latin, they assume Lucifer is the name of the devil. It's not. It was actually, they were making fun of a king, because Lucifer is the morning star, the bringer of light, and he says how you have fallen. But then it was talking about a rebellion. This guy rises up to go against his father, and then, like the morning star, he's cast down. So that was what it was. It was, that was kind of, he was making fun of them. People think that the serpent in the Old Testament was the devil, but it wasn't. It was just a talking snake. And then, but there was the word Satan, which appeared rarely, but Satan was just an opponent, an accuser, just sort of like an adversary.
Yeah.
Now, in more Christian traditions, when it became known as the Satan, the name was ♦, capital. It was capitalized, ♦, and it meant the opponent, the adversary, and it was sort of elevated into a demigod position.
But what about like in Judah? Well, who's Azazel? Azazel is considered to be the Judah is.
There are many forms of demons and devils. Azazel. There is Leviathan, and who is the serpent of the sea, and there's Behemoth,
sea monster. Yeah. Iblis. Let's talk about that, because a lot of people consider like Lucifer to be the people who are Satanists. They only worship or meditate upon Lucifer. But what about like people who, like in Islam? Do you think Islam people are also tending towards Satanism?
Well, theirs is shaitan in Islam. I think that Abrahamic faiths are faiths of fear, and they no matter who it is, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, they are so afraid of stepping out of line. They're so afraid that their God will punish them. They're so afraid, so they create, if there's a bad thought, it has to be the adversary. This creature can hear you, and he can see you, and he's omnipresent. That's godlike. They claim that they're monotheistic. All three of them claim they're monotheistic, but they all believe that this demigod is almost as powerful as their God, Yahweh, Jesus, and Allah. So they're not monotheistic. They're not.
So I mean, Richard, Lael, there you go, saved it. Tell me one thing. There are a lot of people, like I know a friend, all right? I know a friend. He stumbled upon Satanism a couple of years ago. He started meditating on him. He loved the feeling. It was amazing. His words, it was amazing. It made him feel good because he felt validated and all of that. Again, his words, he told me that to you. And he encountered certain things in his life later that was quite negative. Like he lost a loved one after he started worshiping and all that. And then he lost a lot of money as well, right, within a couple of months and all of that. So he got scared, but he still loves the feeling, right? That meditation, 3 o'clock meditation, rituals and all of that. What do you suggest him to do? Because you're a psychic, and he might be watching it. Yep.
What I would say in this matter is that it's not causality. It's not these bad things didn't happen because of his religious practices. They were going to happen. That's what I would say on that. The other thing is that if he enjoys it, if the rituals give him pleasure, then I think do it every day. I have rituals that I do myself, do it every day. The other thing is that you have to sort of grow, and we've all had, what the Christians call trials and tribulations, but we've all gone through things that are hard. No matter, there are Christians in Haiti, children who were raised Christians who don't have food to eat. Right. So no matter what, there are people in India who are devotees to Lord Krishna, and again, they don't have food to eat. They don't have money in the bank. So it doesn't matter. Positive or negative things will happen regardless. So the way that you dust yourself off and you pick yourself up and you move yourself
from what I hear from him, like he had insomnia, he had depression, he had heartbreaks, and he stumbled upon Satanism, and when he used to listen to meditation and these music, you have find it on YouTube, he found solace. His insomnia went away. Yeah, he stopped drinking.
Meditation can help in any way, no matter what. If our intention is right, if we are thinking, okay, I want change, I want positive change, it honestly doesn't matter who you're praying to. It doesn't matter because the effects are personal to you. So some people pray to Jesus and some people pray to Allah, and some people, they get the positive effects. The negative effects are when they try to force it on other people.
Exactly. But in this particular case, there isn't that angle. Like most of the people who are hurt, who are depressed, they want to stick it up to the man, right? They want to go against the grain. They don't want to be a part of this, or they want something else. They don't, because they tried everything else and that didn't work. So when they stumble upon Satanism and they stumble upon these rituals and all of that, they actually feel that release. Like, holy crap! Again, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the friend.
Sure.
Right? So the friend my friend was like, he had a gigantic weight off his chest, and he felt like he was loved again by somebody. Mm-hmm. And this was like this. I know. I mean, he still doesn't like. He wants to. He says that he is also an atheist Satanist, like yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Like he doesn't. Because like if there is a hell, and if he goes to hell, he wouldn't like it. It doesn't matter who he worships. Like,
I would tell you this: I would rather go to hell, the Christian hell, than the Christian heaven.
I get the conundrum of it. The Family Guy sketch also talks about that. I know a lot of people wearing white robes, just being confused and all of that. But when I say that. But still believing that if there is actually a devil, right? If there is an actual, and we are like meditating around him, around the image of the Baphomet, around the image of Lucifer's sigil or anything, if that helps him, and he believes in it, what the fuck is the issue? Why do people not accept the fact? Because he cannot check that. First of all, there isn't that. I don't know if United States you have that extra checkbox for Satanism in the religious column. I think you do, right?
I think they do. I don't remember. I don't remember. I know that the largest growing is the non-affiliates. So they're the nuns, the others, and at one point it was including witches, Wiccans, pagans, and then there's like Satanists, but it's such a vast thing. But the largest growing was, for a while, it was the nuns.
So I think they should add Satanism as a checkbox, because people who want to express themselves through this identity should do it right away. They should. Exactly.
It's not for everybody. It comes with the word Satan comes with a lot of baggage. Christians, Muslims, Jewish people usually don't care one way or the other. They don't care. They don't believe in Satan. Go right ahead. Knock yourself out. But it's the Christians and the Muslims who go, But so it is Satanism is an extreme form of anti-theism, and it comes with baggage, because people will think that you sacrifice babies and that you're evil, and that it can impede upon your job, and things can happen. It's not easy. So and you'd think, for me, even there are people that I have known that seemed like they were fine with it. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden they're not. They just can't get over the use of Satan. Well, if you don't believe in Satan, why are you a Satanist? Because it's all about an identity. Yeah, but why are you a Satanist? Because I like it. Yeah, but why do you like it? Because it is anti-theism, and it is funny. It's fan fiction. It's a character that already has power that these people are afraid of, and he's not even real.
There you go. True, man. True. I really do believe in you. I think you are the devil, for fuck's sake. What the hell? Look at you. You did you freeze? Oh, okay. There you go.
So
You look a lot. Do you see the conundrum of it? You look like a mix between Keanu Reeves and Johnny Depp. You have a face cut like that.
And the devil.
And the devil. Okay. You
Yeah,
would tell
no,
me if we could sign a contract right away. Right away. I don't even care.
No, I wish I still had the cards. Years ago, when I was working parties and events, and you remember that painting that was in the show on Ghost Adventures of me as the devil, the one that was over that was me as the devil.
Yeah.
That one came about as kind of a joke, but I liked it so much, I put it on my business cards. And then I'd be working at an event, and then people would want a reading, or they would want a photograph, or they would want, whatever. I'd give it anyway. But people would want that, and they would say, but I don't want to pay you. And I'd say, that's fine. I'll give it to you for free. Really? Yeah, really, really, for free, in exchange for your immortal soul. And then I would hand them my business card, and it would have me as the devil. And most would go, ha ha, that's funny. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then I had one fellow, I remember this. I was working in Hollywood, and this fellow came to me, and he wanted a picture, and he wanted a reading, and he wanted these things, but he says, I don't have any money. I said, that's okay. I'll give you a free one. Really? Yeah, I'll give you a free one in exchange for your soul. You mean you're really a free one? I mean, you don't believe in souls, do you? Come on. It's just your little old soul. You don't need that. I'll give it to you for free. And he goes, so you're not going to charge me? Nope, just your soul. Okay, yeah, all right. And I said, now you have to shake on it. Okay, and he shakes my hand. And then he goes off. He goes on his own way. And a week goes by, and he comes back, and he throws $100 at me. And he says, please, can I have my soul back, please? And I said, Luxor, Buxor, burst and burn. Okay, there's your soul. Now,
Holy
that spell that I just did, that's from one of my favorite movies. It's the Addams Family Values. But
Addams Family, yeah.
The Addams Family Values. Luxor, Buxor, burst and burn. Just curse. Have a nice day. So,
my God.
Yeah, but I gave him back his soul.
You're a fun person to hang out with, my man. That is so cool of you. You're a family man. You got kids, or you're settled down?
The only family that I have are 4 rather haunted antique marionettes. I don't have a family. My mother. My mother.
Yeah, I saw one of your posts with your mom. Your mom's quite sweet. Do you plan to settle down in life?
Oh, I don't like that word, settling. It sounds so. I don't know.
Oh, because you are a voyager. You're traveling.
I'm a traveling man.
Wow, man. It was such a lovely interaction. I do think the internet froze a little bit. There are a lot of things that you said, but the audio podcast would be fantastic. I would love to have you on a series of shows in the future when you are free.
I would be absolutely delighted.
Because today there was a little bit of disruption, even when you told the stories. There are so many amazing stories that you tell, and I mean, I'm telling you again, man, I became an immediate fan, and I actually looked you up right after I saw that video, and I found your profile. I was like, okay, this is the guy, and I was just really wanted to talk to you. It's my 87th episode. I wished it was my 66th, but that would be perfect. But
well, I'll come back for your 88th, and I'll come back for your 666th, and I'll come back for your 18, whatever. I don't, whatever they may be.
You have a YouTube channel. It's called The Gentleman Psychic. Guys, go ahead and check it out, because he talks about theology and philosophy like nothing.
I've been on a little bit of hiatus, but I'm going to start back this week.
You have so much depth in your content, man. So much. You how many souls did you take to put it into the video? Because it's so depth.
Quite a few.
Oh my God, this soulless guy. But in the end of the day, I really do want to tell you that it was a lovely interaction. And now I am ready to virtually shake on and give you my soul. There you go. Here you go. My soul is yours now. Let's be. And all I want for a return is your friendship. And I want you in my show again and again. Like the little devil you are.
Consider it a deal.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Lael, everybody. Okay, an exit monologue is a must. Listen, the purpose, the context behind today's show was not to convert anybody to Satanism. It is not to change your philosophy. Go rebel, kids, go ahead. Yeah, nobody cares. No, nobody cares about it. You gotta believe. You're entitled to believing whatever you believe. We talked about certain issues in theology at the moment. We talked about history. We talked about philosophy, and in the middle there were a lot of lagging, so you might miss a couple of things, and I also missed a couple of comments. It's okay, because we will have Richard on other shows later when we are free. We have a mutual understanding. Till then, go out there, worship what the hell you want. Hail Satan, go to hell.